Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I think the thing here is that like Ganon, like that up air is just so big that the Luigi Nair doesn't actually protect him that much. Sort of similar to like a Marth up air.
Yep. Ooh. Couple back airs, and there's kind of the wall. Kind of like Luigi from a bad spot really kind of struggles to play this game, I think.
Great use of every single resource for MadTyro to find his way back to stage. NoFluxes gonna have to sort of close things out here.
Ooh. Man, and we kind of see the dichotomy here where Luigi's going to have kind of brutal true combos, and Ganon's going to have really brutal juggles and edge guards. So NoFluxes dropped one edge guard and lost his entire stock in response.
Yeah, it felt like before he dropped that, NoFlux had such great control of the side of the stage, right? Of that center control and sort of holding MadTyro in the corner. But then as soon as MadTyro got out, he just did the same thing right back to NoFluxes.
Yep. I kind of like how NoFluxes is playing right now. He's kind of covering the option, the greedy option as I like to call it, which is not letting Luigi back on stage and only giving him the ledge. If you do that too many times in a row, eventually the Luigi becomes predictable, and then you just need one read to cover the ledge and kill him, right? So, and just like that, NoFlux gets a huge amount of damage on the next stock off of one stomp, gets a quick 70, and now he's doubling the damage.
Yeah, and that last stock was all caught off of an edge cancel on the side B, so NoFlux is really ready for that little trick in the matchup. Good to see.
Yeah, that's important because like when you're covering the on-stage option, they have like one tricky on-stage option, and you're still covering that too. So it's like, no, you can grab the ledge, but it's not gonna like make you feel that happy with the matchup right now, right? So.
Ooh, and there you saw Luigi tries to go for the Luigi Nair there, but just gets out hitboxed by the up air from Ganon. So we talked about that before. I think that's going to be a consistent problem for MadTyro, is just being able to get down ever.
Yeah, and it did trade, so if ever the percents are really favorable for Luigi, like if Ganon's at 130 and Luigi's at 0, that's a good trade, right? It's just that when you're both high percent, the trades are going to be pretty bad for you. So.
And there at the end of that last stock, we saw Ganon try to go up and challenge Luigi above him, but it really feels like whoever has the initiative has a ton of control in this matchup. That time, because Luigi wasn't just coming out of hit stun, he gets to throw out a dare ahead of time, and that just kills.
Yeah, I always like to joke that Luigi has aerial smash attacks, and Ganon just kind of has only smash attacks. So they just kind of both hit like trucks. Oh, Luigi loses his jump here. Insane mash, actually. All his down Bs have just, they're more than a jump height.
Yeah, MadTyro, sort of the best to ever do it in terms of mashing that tornado to get back on stage. And just great use of every option, every ability that he has when recovering, right? You see the tornado, you see even when he burns the double jump, he's like being tricky, he's throwing out the fireballs, just everything to make it hard to cover his recovery option.
Yeah. Oh, really nice scoop there, covering the shield drop with the up tilt there. And I think Ganon kind of struggles to like go out there, you know? Like he's not super fast. Like a lot of characters you see Luigi's side B and you can just jump out there and hit him because it's really laggy. Ganon just kind of has to watch you do it and then stay on stage. But that's been working out for him. NoFlux has a lot of control when he's on stage right now.
Yeah, and MadTyro keeps swinging, keeps finding hits, but can't get those big combos off of it. It's sort of a one get off me button, and then like having to go back. But he forces the recovery situation, gets the edge guard, and all of a sudden we're back to one stock apiece.
Yeah, Ganon's invincibility seems like a big problem right now. It's like there's no safe place to stand on stage. Ganon's going to be able to threaten the whole stage, and you kind of have to just win a mix-up. And NoFlux has been really consistently winning that mix-up. That being said, MadTyro consistently getting to the ledge on those recoveries.
Okay, the back air still not enough to do it. MadTyro's going to get another recovery opportunity. That dare just barely misses, but NoFlux able to jump over the down smash and find the back air on the back end, closing out the game. Whew, that was a close one.
Yeah, NoFlux looked really solid right now. He kind of like, he's like the Rock right now that's just like, you're going to have to find an answer to this right now, right? Because he's like slowly moving in, and he either like reaches you and you're screwed, or you try to like dive into him and then you just bounce off of him and do nothing, right? It's like he seems really stable right now in terms of his play style.
And you talked about it before the match started, right? That the real advantage that Ganon brings to the table is those huge hitboxes that just cover so much space. And the way that NoFluxes is sort of incrementally taking space, incrementally forcing MadTyro into the corner, is really feels like it's taking full advantage of that discrepancy in hitboxes. And to me, that feels like you know, when you take advantage of the like big differences between your character and their character, that's how you punish mid tiers. And even though this is sort of a mid tier versus mid tier, it feels like Ganon is taking more advantage of his opportunities than MadTyro right now.
Yeah, I do like the counter pick. It is, of course, not only Luigi's best stage, but probably Ganon's worst stage. So it's like a really, oh my god. Okay, he's fine. If that had misfired, that's just a stock. That was a 1 in 8 chance of being an SD.
Ooh, okay, but after all of those shenanigans, we actually come back to a very even game here. Again, NoFluxes just putting out those massive hitboxes. A lot of back-facing and a lot of use of that back air, really more than any of his options. I expected more fair, actually, but the back air really seems to be working.
Fair tends to just be too slow against Luigi. Like, Luigi just sneaks in and uses his own fair, but like during the wind-up of your own. And so it's like, it can be kind of hard to land it, while back air is just like, it's out faster and then lasts for a long time and then has no lag. So there's a lot of setups that Ganons do where they auto-cancel the back air. They'll do it like rising or like even falling. Sometimes you can do it and still auto-cancel it. So it ends up being like really hard to punish, and Luigi has to not get too antsy. Like, most of these back airs that you're seeing have no lag because they're auto-canceled. So
yeah, the other thing I'm noticing is that the way that NoFluxes is choosing the attack options is when he does face forward and fair, it's in a retreat, right? It's jump back fair. Whereas with the back air, he's really only willing to go forward with the back air.
Yeah, that's a classic. We've seen the like Falcos utilize this technology in Marth. Doing the down air ledge cancel, grab the ledge, kind of covers all the ledge tech options that they would have as well. Or in this case, a meteor cancel, which didn't quite reach the ledge anyways, but NoFlux finds himself with an entire stock lead now.
Okay, NoFlux, he's been very sparing with the jab, but he brings it out in key situations to sort of stuff Luigi's approaches on the ground, and that seems like a big problem for MadTyro, sort of getting caught out on his way in a couple situations with that.
Yep. MadTyro getting nice damage every time he finds a hit. He gets something like 80% or something, but Ganon has 2 health bars, you know? Like, 80% is pretty close to kill percent for most characters, but Ganon, he seems like a couple hits away from being knocked off stage meaningfully right now still.
Yeah, it's true, right? And it all comes down to, like, how many interactions do you have to win, right? So even though he's able to get that 80%, if that's not getting to your one hit to kill, then you're still not really getting that big of an advantage off of it.
Yep. There's part of me that thinks NoFlux can be a little bit more aggressive with these edge guards. That down B looked maybe punishable if he's willing to go out there. That being said, don't break what ain't, don't fix what something, you know? Don't, don't change what ain't broken, whatever. And right now, he doesn't have to change anything right now, right? He's up 3 stocks to 1, and why take an unnecessary risk when you're just winning the whole thing stage?
Yeah, it feels like even when MadTyro is able to get back to ledge, it just doesn't matter, right? NoFlux has such great center control and such great corner pressure that, like, sure, come back to ledge 10 times. I don't care. I'm still winning.
Exactly. Yeah, especially, I mean, he has so much control when he has center stage. You talked about the retreating fairs. I feel like his retreating aerials have not once been punished, and not even kind of like incrementally punished. It's really hard for Luigi to like walk you into the corner, you know, because he kind of moves forward with like this all-in burst movement, and it's hard for him to just be like, oh, you retreating fared, I will dash dance forward slightly, you know.
Yeah, and there again, to close out that game, we see the use of the massive hitboxes. Ganon goes up with the up air, even though MadTyro throws out the dare to try to protect his descent. They end up trading, and that's just a kill for NoFluxes. So he takes the lead 2-0, looks super strong. When we started that game, you talked about how that was probably the best stage for Luigi. What do we need to see out of MadTyro to make it actually look like a winning stage?
Yeah, so there's a chance he goes back, and I think he has to play, like I mentioned, a little bit more incrementally. You kind of just got to be outside of Ganon's range, except when you're like directly hitting him. And you can kind of watch Ganon flail around with his hitboxes instead of interacting with them. And you really need to, in order for movement to beat hitboxes, you need to like move a lot and then let your opponent whiff his moves, right? And that's when it's like, Ganon starts to feel his lack of movement rather than the fact that his hitboxes are just bigger than yours, right? That seems to be a lot of the interactions, is they are just directly fighting. That being said, MadTyro decides to go back to change the dynamic a little bit to platform stage camp.
Yeah, I really like this. I feel like NoFluxes was making it just too difficult for MadTyro to find anything on the ground. And so bringing just the more complexity and the wavelands that MadTyro has, I think is going to work out better for him.
Yep, I agree. And
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
MadTyro, I think he just likes fighting, man. He's like such a sick player. Like you watch it, he just did like a Nair no impact, or not no impact land, but Nair like platform land or whatever.
yeah.
And he has like all the sick technology. His combo game has like a lot of like the crazy new stuff. And that's kind of like those aren't really the strengths you lean into to beat Ganon. It's kind of the boring stuff, you know. And MadTyro's just like, no, let's scrap.
Yeah, and you can see, right, like, even when MadTyro does wait like he did there, he just sits in the corner for half a second and lets Ganon whiff 2 moves. But then he just feels uncomfortable trying to go in for the whiff punish after. It just feels like not the game plan that MadTyro is comfortable with, and that hurts him a lot here.
And then the very next punish here involved him doing the up air platform cancel land or whatever. And it was sick, and it got Ganon off stage, and then Ganon came back, right? Because he's a huge tank.
Sad.
Yep, big mistake there. This feels like a pretty tough lead to overcome, especially with an additional stomp out of shield like that. NoFlux is pushing it more and more.
Yeah, just a quick 60%. And yeah, these stomps on the side platform, like you talked about, MadTyro's so ready to scrap that when NoFluxes just throws out the dare on the platform, MadTyro just jumps up into it.
His one kill is swag, though, as he just voodoo dashes to the top platform all the way. You know, you got to come up with new turns for all the stuff he's doing, because you know, he's not just doing the traditional stuff. And I mean, it was a swag kill. You got 3 more.
Let's get it. Okay, MadTyro, I actually kind of like that. He's taking his time a little bit, thinking a little more, and like slowing it down. But now you've got to see. Okay.
NoFlux seems so incredibly undeterred in terms of how he was playing neutral. He just like continued kind of doing his thing. That being said, it immediately worked out. The moment you kind of force Ganon to show his movement options, you realize that they are quite limited, right? So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see how this goes from here, because I think MadTyro sort of has figured it out. I think that was really huge. The fact that he gets the full wave dash forward jab grab, that's the first time I've seen him like encroach into Ganon's space and get it done. And he takes it all the way to the 0 to death. Actually a kill there. We had talked about how he'd got 80% but had a hard time closing it out. There we see everything come together in this last moment. This is a huge change in momentum.
He's just watching Ganon flail around the stage, dude. And like Ganon's on the top platform, and he is a solid 3 seconds away from hitting you, you know?
And there again,
the waveland in, yep.
The catching and the end of the double jump, right? Ganon actually had so few options there. It didn't even really matter what he chose to do because he'd already burned the double jump. So the only movement option is the waveland, and Luigi's hitboxes are big enough to cover that and any landing option he goes for. So
yeah,
wow,
it's possible. Like Ganon's mix up there is the forward air might be enough. Hold that thought. He might be able to close it out right here. The reverse down air does do it. MadTyro's on the board, and he really looked like something clicked at the end there. It was almost too little, too late, but not quite. Damn. But yeah, just to finish that thought I was saying is that Ganon kind of has this mix up on the way down where he either does an aerial or he wavelands, right? And it's kind of hard to whiff punish the aerial and be ready to cover both directions of waveland. Where if he wavelands forward, you have to just like swing in front of him, but then you might run into the forward air, right? So, and if you like try to overextend for the waveland back, you might get hit too. So kind of a really good call out there. I think he went into a spot where maybe he would have gotten clipped by a forward air if Ganon had just swung. But it feels really silly to swing when you've blown your double jump and you have no mix-ups left as Ganon, right? Which is why most of his arrows had been done retreating.
Yeah, and wow, I mean, MadTyro looked like he was running into a brick wall for the first 2 games and most of that 3rd game. And it sort of all came together there in that last stock of Game 3. Hopefully MadTyro can sort of continue that as we jump into Game 4 here on Yoshi's Story.
Oh, finding the stomp here. And I will say we talked about kind of utilizing the platforms, and it's actually NoFluxes that's been getting a ton of mileage off like the platforms themselves, getting these edge cancel stomp into falling up air. And this stage is way harder to just sit there and watch Ganon because the top platform forward air just reaches the corner.
Yeah, the threat range, we talked about sort of those blind spots that both characters have. On Yoshi's Story, the blind spots for Ganon are minimal at best as he takes the second stock back to back looking clean.
I always like to visualize Ganon's up air as just covering all of Yoshi's Story. It's just like, it starts and it just like hits the entire side platform, hits the entire top platform, hits the entire other side. Like, it's not quite how it works, but that's how it feels when you fight him. And so you try to avoid being on the platforms, but then he gets to use the platforms, and then his forward air reaches the whole stage and stuff like that. So pretty brutal. He also kills way earlier than normal on this stage, so MadTyro's looking to even it up here, but looking tough.
All right, MadTyro continues to play a little bit more patient than we saw in the earlier games. I think that's a big deal, and he is finding hits, catching the ends of these movement sequences from NoFluxes.
But dude, that's such a that's a good place to stand against like every other character. Like every Falco in the world, they just do the run off down air there, right? Or like Fox in the world, they just run off back air there, and you just dodge it, grab them, kill them, right? But Ganon actually, he's just floaty enough to where he can drift a little bit further, and his hitbox is just big enough that it reaches all the way in the corner. So I don't think there's a he reaches all the way in the corner. Like there is no spot to stand there, right? So.
Oh my god, and he gets another platform dare. We talked about these a lot. It seems like MadTyro keeps trying to fight into him. The up smash to get that invincibility on the head, really nice. But still 2 stocks to 1.
He just went right into him while charging. Like.
Ooh, the trade works out really well in Ganon's favor.
Oh, I thought he hit him, but he actually hit my guy. Yeah. Oh, the edge cancel on Randall, kind of getting involved there. No jump, he's fine.
Oh, and he finds the up air too, that wave or that ledge dash back on, able to cover the up air like you talked about, just covers the whole stage. And yeah, the braids again, looking so good for Ganon.
And Ganon, like, talk about a character that doesn't have arthritis, right? All of these little percent add up so much, and we're approaching like 4 tilt kill range, right? Like, just all his moves are just becoming so scary. Not to mention the ones he's been using, like back air, or just, you know, that reverse up air sent him across the entire stage. What is this? He's a genius. We can't keep up.